Some of us are simply too lazy with our sin and our offense at Jesus to really ask deeper, more probing, helpful questions. We just say, I'm offended. And if I'm offended, I've offended my emotions, my sense of self. And that's the most important thing. It's not the most important thing about you. Because we've all been wrong about our sense of self at some point in our life. We've all changed who we thought that we were. So clearly, that's not the authority of your life. What instead, if we looked at our sin and we said, if I really want to get out of this sin, maybe I need to dig down into the soil and actually see where the roots are in unbelief? Same with our offense. I don't know if you know this, but every time there's a rebellion, or at least nearly every time that there's a rebellion in the Old Testament, God actually reveals the source of that rebellion. You remember, and let me just give you two examples. One time, all the people of Israel, they're about to go into the promised land. They're too fearful. They don't want to go in, so they refuse to go in. And God, instead of rebuking their fear, he says to them, how long will they not believe? Moses is told to go speak to the rock to produce water. God's going to do a miracle. Instead, in his anger, he goes and he strikes the rock. And God doesn't rebuke him for his anger. Instead, God says, because you did not believe. Friends, every sin in your life and mine and every opposition we have towards Jesus has roots that swim in the soil of unbelief. Every time there's a visible sin, a visible, felt, visceral emotion that is against Jesus, there is roots that go down, and those roots are drinking something that you're not believing that is true about Jesus. If you dig deep enough into your worry, what you'll find is an unbelief in God's faithfulness tomorrow. If you dig into your unforgiving spirit, you'll find an unbelief in the amount of sin and the quantity of it that he has already forgiven you. And if, like the people of Nazareth, you dig into your rejection of Christ, you will find unbelief that obscures the obvious. They all knew that Jesus was doing amazing things. Jesus said in John 5 about these amazing things, these very works I'm doing, they bear witness about me that the Father has sent me. I came from heaven. They prove that I'm God. No one can do the things that I'm doing, that you're seeing that I'm doing. But instead of faith, they ask sidestepping questions. Some of us are somebody who does this or know someone who does this. You have shared the gospel with somebody. It is credible. It is honest. It is in front of them. And instead of believing, they keep asking questions that don't matter as much. See, here's the thing. If Jesus rose from the dead, you have to lay aside your offense. He conquered the grave. If he did it, he conquered the grave. And if he conquered the grave, you have to lay aside your offense.